44DS does have two stainless steel anchor rollers. We have a double bow rail and double lines. Alongside the tow rail are flip-up pad eyes, and they are located approximately where most of the fenders are going to go. There's a midship cleat here. Here's a pad eye and another pad eye. There's also one all the way aft. The aft pad eyes could also be used for return blocks for a spinnaker. The mast has swept-back spreaders and corresponding shrouds that are led slightly aft. And on the 44DS they are inboard. Generally tracks are inboard for tight sheeting. And the boom bang is decent size for the boat and the controls are led aft. The 44DS also has a continuous line main sheet that is led aft to either winch. Very handy to control the boat at the helm. The anchor locker is very deep, allowing for good chain fall with the electric windlass and operations available from the cockpit. And there's a hand control in the locker. The deck hatches are flush. The main sheet system on all of these boats are very, very handy. It leads to either side of the cockpit, going all the way to the helm station and allowing the helm person to trim. It's unusual for a boat that has a midship setup like this in that you don't have to go to the coach roof, like for example that winch there, to adjust the main. You can stay at the wheel and adjust the main. The boat has two midship hatches. One opens forward, one opens aft. It's a great way to get ventilation into the cabin. These are custom made by Lumar. The forward one also has a Lumar ventilator on it. And they're available in black and silver, and particularly with these boats, they're black and they look really good. Here you can see the turning blocks for all the lines being led aft. And they are led underneath, right here by the mast. The mast is a deck step, which is also good because it doesn't leave the opportunity for water to be getting into the cabin like a keel step mast. Side deck hatches overhead allow a lot of light to come into the cabin in addition to the two midship hatches. And aft cabin areas have hatches as well. On the 44DS, there's a very clever step to get into the cockpit underneath the bimini. Aft starboard is a double tank propane locker. Boats come standard with one aluminum tank, but there's room for two. They're decent size. And there's a shut-off valve inside as well. Also starboard side aft is a cockpit shower. Hot and cold controls. Pulls right out. Port side is a generous, deep cockpit locker. Shelf down below, access, lots of room. On each side of the cockpit is a flip-up hatch that allows you to store the line from your control system. Here. And we have a remote mic for the standard horizon on this particular boat. Starboard helm has the engine controls, and therefore the tachometer and the multifunction display for the engine below the wheel. It has a counter for the chain. Ray Marine Instruments bow thruster, Plastimo compass. There's a really handy handguard here, very sturdy. And there's a multifunction display here that actually pivots to face whatever direction you'd like. Port side wheel has a repeater for the Ray Marine, Plastimo compass, a guard, and of course the wheel and the line storage. There's room for an additional display unit right between the compass and the other one. The multifunction display quite easily. And the control for it on that one, and that tightens it. Visibility from the helm is very nice. I'm standing here now, and the camera's about eye level. I'm about 6'2", but I had the camera set up for about someone to be about 5'7". Forward panel removes, side panels remove, very good visibility, very good lounging area, and guests would stay out of your way as a helmsperson. You have your own area and you can bounce back and forth between helms for docking, anchoring very easily. You could also have a novice on one wheel and train them how to sail a boat. The table setup is teak, and the leaves fold up. There's a large storage area in the middle. This is a 12-volt adapter, which would be great for an iPad or charging your phone. A couple of cup holders. There's control for cockpit lights. Another 12-volt outlet. There's also storage underneath the cockpit table. The silver plate in the floor is for an emergency steering. It goes directly over the quadrant. Port cockpit locker is rather large. And the starboard side is the same. It's deep enough to put scuba tanks, fenders, all kinds of things. The companionway hatch has a clever little hatch to hide your winch handle and other things you might want to put in there, like a horn and things like that. On top of the cabin, by the companionway, is a van control, an in-haul, and an out-haul for the main. And I have found that sailing this boat, you can actually lead this back, you hold it at the helm, put one wrap around the winch, and be able to handle this all from the wheel. Just leave one cam cleat open and the other closed, depending on what you're doing. The 44DS has a 4-rung ladder here on the transom, and there is a small area here that has a cap that you can pull out and pull out an emergency ladder to board if you fell overboard.